Bienvenidos a Greenwood Cemetery. On this episode of Besos de NYC, I am so honored to have the privilege to introduce you to a special place in this world for me, especially during the pandemic, for me and for many New Yorkers, and that is Greenwood Cemetery. It is like no other cemetery that I've ever known. Not only does Greenwood Cemetery provide a beautiful landscape for families to memorialize and remember loved ones who have passed away, but it also is open to the public and provides a historical perspective of many events and many incredible people who have long passed away, as well as if you have an appreciation for architecture. As you can see the chapel behind me already, that's just stunning. It just blows me away. So I wanted to give you a special look at Greenwood Cemetery, and I just didn't know how to do it because there's just so much to say, right? We'd only be scratching the surface. So I was fortunate enough to be able to interview Stacy Locke, who is the Manager of Communication and Historical Collections here at Greenwood Cemetery. And who better to tell us about it? Again, she'll be highlighting many of the programs, many of the collaborations that the cemetery has, and things that you should know on your visit, or that should at least intrigue your interest to come and visit, because once you visit once, you will, if you live locally, you will never stop coming. And as you know, I'm Patricia Wedding. Besos de NYC supports small businesses, artists, and entrepreneurs, and the culture of NYC, and I am elevating and celebrating people of color. And Greenwood Cemetery is just a cultural mecca here in Sunset Park, and you need to know about it and come here and visit. Oh, and don't forget to check out my other videos, please. There's so much to tell you and show you about New York and New Yorkers. Subscribe down below, or at the end of the video, you can also click on my logo and subscribe there, like and comment. And with that said, let's go meet Stacy Locke.
I've been here at Greenwood almost 10 years now, but my relationship with Greenwood goes back way further than that. I've been coming here since I was a little kid, and it's one of my favorite places in New York City. I started here actually as an intern working with our historical collections and archives, which is a little known part of Greenwood. So Greenwood actually has archives that date all the way back to our founding in 1838, and that includes hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of pieces of paper pertaining to every single interment here at the cemetery, every monument, every piece of history going back since our founding. And we also have extensive historical collections, which are objects, various different types of art, ephemera, things that have been collected over the years that reflect the stories of the people buried here in a much deeper way and help us tell those stories and keep those memories alive. So our historical collections include over 600 pieces of artwork that have been created by people who are interred here at the cemetery. So we've identified over 400 artists buried at the cemetery, and we're sure to identify even more. We have such notable artists as Michele Baquiat. No, we do not have a Basquiat in the collection. That is a little beyond our budget, but we do have works by such wonderful artists as Eastman Johnson, Louis Lang, Philip Evergood, ranging from 19th century, 20th century, and into the 21st century. If you arrive at Greenwood at our main entrance at 25th Street and 5th Avenue, the first thing you'll see is I don't know if we can see them from here, but we have what we call our main entrance arch, which is a Gothic revival structure with two archways underneath, designed by Richard Upjohn and Son, and those house our main offices. Those have been there since 1861, and they sort of work as like an entryway into the cemetery, something that welcomes you. And when you get there, you can kind of look up. You'll notice that nestled amid the spires, you'll see a large bird's nest, and that's one of the most special things about Greenwood, is that we have a colony of monk parakeets. So they look like little green parrots, and you'll see them nestling in there, flying around. They've made their home here at Greenwood for the last at least 30 years, and the nests just keep getting bigger, and it's just a nice little surprise when you walk in. And you know, certain times of day They'll be very loud. You'll hear them squawking at you. As you enter the cemetery through our main arch and you go to the right, you'll see our historic chapel, which was constructed in 1913 by Warren and Wetmore and is actually in the Gothic revival style. And it's a favorite place here at the cemetery. It recently underwent a massive restoration effort where it was cleaned and restored from the masonry to the stained glass windows, and it is open to the public for you to visit during the day if you want to check that out. For years it served as a location for funerary services, but today we use it often for various types of art installations, including our Day of the Dead altar. That's an annual occurrence for Dia de los Muertos in early November. If you're looking for a new way to experience Greenwood, we suggest you check out one of our public programs. We host hundreds a year, even more now that we do virtual programs, which we started during the pandemic. One of our most popular ways to experience Greenwood is through walking and trolley tours. Our trolley tours are suspended because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but we offer walking tours every single weekend. Our most popular walking tour is possibly our after hours tour, where you get a glimpse of Greenwood after we've closed to the public and the sun is setting. We also have a Greenwood's Greatest Hits tour, where you can see some of those spots that everybody's loved here for generations, including Battle Hill, where you'll find the sculpture of Minerva, and the monument of Leonard Bernstein. Right now, some of our most popular programs are actually virtual. Every Wednesday, you can tune in with our historian Jeff Richmond to learn about the little-known facts of Greenwood's permanent residents and monuments with zooming in on history. And on Tuesdays, you can check out History Happy Hour, where we'll pair a signature cocktail along with an interesting story about Greenwood. We also host tons of on-site cultural and arts programming throughout the year. Right now, we're seeing the return of our popular Angel Share series in partnership with Death of Classical, where you can come hear concerts in our catacombs and also outside in the beautiful open air. We have dance performances coming up, storytelling events. There's really no limit to what can be done at Greenwood here. Greenwood provides habitat for over 185 species of migrating birds annually and is recognized by the Audubon Society. If you're interested in learning more about our birds, we recommend you come to one of our early morning birding and peace tours, where you'll be led around to identify some of these fascinating species that we see, which change throughout the seasons. If you want to check out birds on your own, you can also pick up the birding checklist at any of our entrances or download it online, which will list all of the different species that can be found here. And there's a kids version on our digital resources page, so kids can identify species that they might encounter. When you walk into Greenwood, you're immediately surrounded by nature. What you might not know is that Greenwood is a level 3 arboretum, one of only 27 in the world. It's also a bird sanctuary recognized by the Audubon Society. A lot of work goes into maintaining the natural landscape here at Greenwood. Greenwood's horticulture department is involved in tons of innovative programs that help us learn more about the ecosystem around us. We've been partaking in a partnership with Cornell University to better understand how our management of urban grasslands can affect climate change and how we can mitigate the effects of climate change through those practices. We've also done wildlife surveys to better understand the plant and animal species here. You can actually get involved through citizen science initiatives, where you can use the app iNaturalist to help us record the plant and animal species that are here at the cemetery. Through a partnership with the U.S. Forest Service in 2019 that set out to learn more information about the wood-boring insects here at Greenwood, a new species of beetle that had never been identified before was actually found in one of our mature beech trees. Starting in January 2021, Greenwood welcomed its first ever artist in residence. Ceramic artist Heidi Lau has a studio space in our Fort Hamilton Gatehouse. She's creating a body of work that responds to the cemetery, themes of death and dying, our natural landscape, and our rich history. I look forward to seeing what she comes up with when it premieres in September. Our hundreds of thousands of monuments and mausoleums are expertly maintained by our restoration crew. Right now, they're hard at work training the next generation of masonry professionals through our Bridge to Craft Careers program in partnership with Opportunities for a Better Tomorrow. Every year, a historic mausoleum at Greenwood is selected so that students can learn hands-on how to do restoration and masonry work. One of my very favorite things about Greenwood is that while we have such a rich history, we're always looking towards the future. We're thinking about what we can do to maintain this landscape and all of these monuments for generations to come, so that people can come and enjoy all that Greenwood has to offer for many years.
So I hope you enjoyed learning about Greenwood Cemetery and having a couple of views of the beauty of the landscape and everything that there is to offer here, whether it's the trees, whether it's the flowers, the bees, the birds. I get so excited talking about Greenwood Cemetery. I can talk about it all the time. If you're looking for respite to get away from the city, and you live locally, come here. If you're coming to vacation in New York, put it on your calendar to make a visit to Greenwood Cemetery. It's a must, 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 must. And because it is a cemetery, I just want to point out that there are do's and don'ts. You can go on the website to find those out, but I'll just give you a few. Greenwood Cemetery is great for coming to visit with family and with children. From a historical perspective, from the nature and the ponds, it's great for children. Just mind that you need to be respectful. No loud music, no food, no jogging and running and doing exercise. It's mostly a place to come and walk, meditate, take a promenade, clear your head, and get a new perspective on life and appreciate everything that we have, everything that we've been through, our loved ones. And Greenwood Cemetery will be here to celebrate life, remember our loved ones, and move forward. I wanted to point out that in light of COVID-19, recently Greenwood Cemetery collaborated with some organizations to create a memorial out in front of the gates of Greenwood Cemetery. As you're coming in, you'll see the names of all the people, family members that people lost during COVID, and it's a way to memorialize them. It's definitely and continues to be an opportunity for us to remember our loved ones, our friends, and to heal and to move forward. So I just wanted to point that out and let the cemetery know that as a person, part of this community, truly appreciated the memorial and look forward to continuing to learn more about Greenwood Cemetery every time we come. So hasta la próxima vez on our next adventure of Besos de NYC. We'll see where I take you next. This is Patricia Wedding, sending you Besos de NYC.